Ravens fans, we may have a secret weapon on our hands, and I know every year we are always looking for who's going to step up on defense, especially in the pass rusher role. But I wanted to play this video for you guys that I saw from one of the Ravens' most recent videos, and I want you guys to watch it, and I'll come back.
You look at the course of the OTAs, the mandatory minicamp, and you think of who made an impression, who looked really good. I think the top of the list would be David Ojabo.
Doggone 90, boy. Yeah, he like that.
With the 45th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select David Ojabo.
Let's go!
He played sparingly last year. He had to work his way back from the torn Achilles, but he has been somebody that stood out throughout the entire offseason program. He looks completely healthy, and what really stands out to me is when you watch practice, he brings a ton of energy.
We've been getting after it, just literally making each other better, going hard. Iron sharpens iron. We just make sure we focus on technique. We're all good. We're all in the NFL. We recognize that. So now it's just refining technique and pushing each other, holding each other accountable.
So there's a couple things I want to talk about. One's a positive thing. We'll talk about that first. The second's a negative thing. And again, I'll put that to the end. If you guys, love a little bit of that toxicity every now and then, stay to the end. But the first thing I want to talk about is that this is great news. The Ravens really do need an impact pass rusher on third downs. And again, we've seen now that even at Tyus Bowser's best, that's not what he does. Tyus Bowser is not one of those guys that can pass rush and go get you, 12 sacks a year. He's more of a guy that can do everything. And the Ravens have a need for that kind of guy with our defense. We need guys that can do everything. We need guys like Kyle Hamilton, right? We need those kind of guys that can do all of it. However, at the end of the day, the most effective way to stop great quarterbacks is to have great pass rush. We've only seen Patrick Mahomes look human one time, and it wasn't even really human. He just looked like a weakened version of a superhuman. And that's when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were killing them in the Super Bowl with their pass rush. This is what we need to do, right? We need to have some great pass rush, and one great pass rusher with our scheme really makes a difference. There are a couple of reasons I think they're saying what they're saying. One, of course, is that the comfort level that Ojabo has with our coordinator, Mike McDonald, is high as he coached him already. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, right? Again, I would even say that even now, even though Mike has been with the Ravens one season, he doesn't really know the strengths and weaknesses of Tyus Bowser, right? He's watching the film the same way that other coaches watch it, right? You can't say that every coach knows the strengths and weaknesses of every outside linebacker. They watch the film and see what they do. And sometimes the different calls don't allow people to do what they want to do. However, when it comes to Ojabo, Mike can coach directly to him because he knows where he started at. He knows his progression through the different steps of being an NFL player. He knows how much this means to him. He knows the emotional buttons to push, right? He was there. And again, when you see people go through major life points, you know them a little bit better. I have friends, again, who I've known my entire life, and I don't even need to be around them as much to know what they're thinking and how they react to certain situations. And that's the same thing that's happening here, I think. He's going to be back from injury 100% last season. He wasn't 100% when he returned, so he was very quiet. And I also think the Ravens, of course, didn't feel the need to use him. He just wouldn't have been as effective as he will be this year. I think there's a chance that Ojabo will start. I think he's been doing that well from rumors I've heard. Again, this video is not the only video I've heard this from. I think that he will be doing an excellent job on the field this season. And the Ravens do have a lot of bodies at outside linebacker. It's just these bodies haven't stepped up. With the multiple scheme the Ravens run, I think our outside linebackers will be rested. When it comes to organizing the team and making those big plays, I don't think that they'll rely too much on Ojabo. Again, Roquan Smith will have the bulk of the responsibility with play calling, with getting people set up, and Ojabo can just do his thing, right? You really don't understand the burden of getting a team together unless you're actually the one doing that, right? We know that Terrell Suggs is one of our greatest players, and Terrell Suggs was great as a pass rusher in his MVP season, but he had a leader, right? He had Ed Reeds, he had Ray Lewis's, and as Terrell Suggs, got older and had more responsibility, he was still great, but he was better at doing multiple things because he was trained on multiple things now, right? He wasn't just going after the pass rusher, forget what everybody else is doing. He had to cover up for people sometimes. And I think that this is what we're going to see from Ojabo. He will be similar to a young Terrell Suggs, not an MVP Terrell Suggs, not a Defensive Player of the Year Terrell Suggs, but a young Terrell Suggs that offers lots of energy and pass rush ability. And I'm excited to see that. And I think Ojabo will impress us all. And he will be one of my picks for the Ravens X Factors for the year. Now, here's a negative thing I want to talk about. And guys, please feel free to go in the comments and say, Jason, you talk about him too much. You're always negative on him. But I have to say this. Where the hell is Odafe Oweh at? Where is this guy? I mean, he has skills and physical traits out of this world. The physical traits are just amazing. However, I think either that he's just not a fast learner or he's lost confidence in his ability. And again, he was always a long shot. I understand he was always a developmental player, but in the NFL and in all sports, right? Especially in some positions, you see that physical freaks can make a giant difference. You don't have to be great at everything, especially in a specific positions, right? The fastest running back is good. The fastest running back is good. It doesn't matter what you do. The fastest running back is good, right? You figure out to get them the ball in space and he's good, right? This is why we can see younger running backs outperform older running backs because they still have that jump in their step, right? They don't need to be able to read holes that well, right? Because if they can get to a point where it's one-on-one, they can make a difference. We see that a lot of times in young pass rushers that even though they might not have the ability to win when it's most important, right? On third downs where they have to do a great move, they can run fast enough and be strong enough on a first or second down to impact plays, right? They can give a fake move and bull rush if they're strong enough, right? For example, Aaron Donald, who we all know is one of the greatest players of all time. However, he was not the greatest player of all time when he was a rookie. He was not. He's gotten much, much better. He was good as a rookie and was, again, an all-pro, but he wasn't the best player of all time as a rookie. And then many times he wasn't the best player, on the field. He lined up against better players, but he was always strong. He was always quick. He always had a good first step. These things that are physical, not necessarily the mental aspect, right? But we're not saying that I'm expecting Odafe Oweh to dominate games. That's not what I'm expecting. However, I do expect that he doesn't get shown up by, a rookie who couldn't play his first season because of injury. That's all I'm asking for. Don't get shown up, and he's been getting shown up. He's been getting shown up by Justin Houston, who's an old man. I love Justin. He can play. He's still an old man. And he knows it. He's an old man, right? He got shown up by players coming off an injury at the pass rusher position. Now he's getting shown up by a person coming off an injury who is younger than him. And all these players that I named, Tyus Bowser, Justin Houston, David Ojabo, do not have the physical skills that Odafe Oweh has. And he's really, really reminding me of players like Dion Lewis, I believe his name was. I might be getting that wrong. But he played for the Miami Dolphins. He was drafted, was a physical specimen, a physical freak, but couldn't get the job done. And this is what it's reminding me of, and I'm really disappointed. Just wanted to be negative for a little bit. But overall, this video is about Ojabo and why I think he has an advantage on other young players. He's coming into a coaching situation that's perfect for him, and I think he will really shine. And again, I do expect him to get better, unlike some people, every single game. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think about Ojabo. I think he's going to have a great, great season. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe, like, share. Go Ravens.